Hi, I'm Richard Krueger from the University of Minnesota. Today we're going to be talking about a strategy for analyzing focus group interviews. It's called the classical or the classic analysis method. This was developed early on as focus groups were being used in the 1940s, 1950s of analyzing qualitative data. It's sometimes been called the long table approach, and it's also been compared to the strategy developed by Barney Glaser and Absalom Strauss in their work on grounded theory, called the constant comparative strategy. And it's an interesting way of putting together the analysis of the focus group. It requires complete transcripts of the focus group. And here are the materials that are needed. You need a transcript of each focus group. And sometimes you might have them color-coded. And so if they're done in different locations at different days, you can print them on different colors of paper. Or if they're different categories of audiences, you can color-code them in that kind of a way. We use large sheets of paper, flip chart size, scissors, marking pens, tape, and then long tables or big floors in order to put the material out. And here's the process. We get all of our materials together. It often is wise to work with a partner on this so that you have two heads as you're going through these. And you go question by question through the process, basically asking yourself, does this fit? Does it answer the question? And if it answers the questions, you cut it out and you place it in a pile. You sort it into various categories, give labels to those, and you make a summary. This strategy is very useful in doing analysis, especially when you have a limited number of focus groups. There's some things to keep in mind is that some comments can have multiple codes, where a comment is said and it could go one place, it could go to another place. And when that happens, we often have to sort of make a duplicate copy and put it in two different places. We tape the results on the flip chart and then write a summary at the bottom of the flip chart that gives an overview of what's been said. And one of the nice advantages is then that we can put these on display for colleagues to review and to comment on. And then oftentimes we'll use these as the raw materials for actually writing the report, where we sit in front of the flip chart, able to take off the quotes and write the report. I want to show you an example from an actual project that we were doing of what the finished product might look like. Now here's a flip chart that shows, you'll notice at the top is the question that was asked, what makes training successful? And then they use yellow notes to indicate the categories, the codes that they use, and under each one are the exact quotes that were used in the focus group. And then you'll see as we continue on down, at the bottom they wrote a little summary that summarizes the things that are covered earlier on. And by using this method, they could actually sit down with these large sheets and prepare the report by basically taking the summary, editing it a bit, identifying the various categories, selecting the quotes, and presenting the report, writing the report right from these large sheets. So this is one of those things to give some consideration to. The classic method has been used for a number of years. It can be used with a variety of qualitative data, not just with focus group interviewing. And it is sort of the basis for a number of computer analysis programs that had been developed since that time. NVivo, Atlas TI, a variety of other programs use very similar kinds of concepts where you're gathering materials, you're basically coding, putting similar things together, and then looking at and writing about the relationships of those things. And so keep in mind, this method of analysis can be very effective. One of the things that we suggest, though, is that if you have a large-scale study, more than a dozen or so focus groups, it kind of tests the limits of this particular strategy. This works better when you have a more limited number, up to about a dozen. Beyond that, you may want to give some serious thought to some of the computer analysis systems that are out there. Our next session is going to be continuing our conversation on analysis and talking about how do you determine where to place emphasis in the analysis as you're writing the report. Thank you.